Well, what an absolutely incredible weekend we've had here in Chile once again. Finally, the South American adventure comes to a close. It's been a long build-up to this crescendo, and Sebastian Ogier took another win in style. The stats for that man are just unbelievable, but the key focus here now is the stat that he's probably always wanted, is to equal Sebastian Loeb's 9 world titles. It's very much in the grasps at the moment. He's 2 points clear of Elfyn Evans. It is still very possible for Elfyn Evans to claw that back, and of course it's the one time that it would have been fine for him to open the road on tarmac, and he isn't doing it, but that is okay. The fight is still very much on, and it is going to go down to the absolute wire. All right, I'm Kiri Bloor. Mike Chen will be joining me in just a moment. We'll be here for the next half an hour to recap everything that is Rally Chile. So we know that Sebastian Ogier is the winner. We know he's leading the World Championship title race, and we know that finally Oliver Solberg is WRC2 champion. But how did it all get to this point? Well, it started off very well for Kalle Rothenpera. It was like it was all going his way, and then all of a sudden drama ensued for Kalle. Such disappointment for Kalle. He led the rally, and then he just had that moment, the moment that he had the year before as well, stage 3, and it changed. He dropped all the way down to 9th, picked up a puncture there, as he did in Paraguay. It just seems to be a bit of a curse at the moment. This time totally his fault. However, that was in stage 3, dropped him down to 9th. He's clawed his way back up. It's been an impressive Sunday for him, but it is not what he would have wanted from this weekend. I am sure it still keeps his title hopes alive, but it's made it a whole lot harder. That handed the Hyundais the lead, didn't it? Tanak was in the lead. It's impossible to imagine that Tanak was then in the lead, and things were looking very strong for Tanak. He was his usual power unit all the way into the final stage on Friday, and then drama struck once again for Oit. It seems like this season is just a bit cursed for Oit, but here we go. We're just on board with Oit as this drama unfolded for him. That's his car on the side of the stage. Early reports were that his engine had failed. Such disappointment for him. Just another time this season when Tanak has been on the side of the road with his head in his hands. Like I said, it isn't just me here for the next half an hour. Thank goodness for you lot. Mike Chen is here as well, and you join such a hard time for Tanak. This season, a bit of a curse. He's had a couple of seasons like this where it's just so bitter at the moment.
Yeah, that's me adjusting my packet. That's all that is.
Is it on your bum?
No, it was just very loud in my ear. That was a really unfortunate time to cut to me there, wasn't it? Yeah, listen, for Tanak, what can you say, Kiri? You know, he's done nothing wrong. The car was quick, engine let go on him, and it'll be the 3rd or 4th time I've said it this weekend. When you come to the World Rally Championship at this level, the reason why it's such a good place to market and promote your product is because you've got to have absolute perfection all of the time. And look, the car let him down at the end of the day, and you can't afford to do it. It's not a pace thing, but once that engine let go, that was it, and it should have been a different story, frankly.
So one Hyundai's misfortune came another's fortune. Adrian Formaux leading our rally into Saturday. The first time he's led a rally after a full day. Yes, in Japan he'd done that, but it was only after one super special. This was then exciting times for Adrian Formaux. A bit of sort of just desserts after a disappointment in Paraguay. But I have to say, this didn't last long either.
No, I mean, like, as you said, Friday night, Adrian was leading the rally, and it was looking so good, and he had it in his head that there was the potential to get this rally won, and unfortunately, it just sort of kind of went away on Saturday and Sunday. A very different type of surface from Friday. Friday, the Hyundais were working really well, but once they started to get onto the abrasive surface, they just weren't able to match the pace of the Toyotas in the difficult conditions, and it just ebbed away for Adrian. Nonetheless, I'm really happy for him that he stuck it on the podium, but he absolutely deserves a victory in his career now, doesn't he? The pace has been good, the car's good. That's the next step.
Yeah, and he's shown it quite a few times. All right, well, Adrian Formaux's misfortune became Elfyn Evans' fortune. The rain poured down, and it was reminiscent of a Wales Rally GB. And from that moment, Elfyn Evans powered through. Sebastian Ogier hadn't quite woken up yet. It was looking good for Elfyn Evans. For a little moment there, I thought this could be his.
Certainly on Friday morning, I mean, the pace was really good because he was helped by the road conditions, and he'll tell you that really helped him. Yeah, he just wasn't able to match the pace and mastery of the magician that is Sebastian Ogier over the last 24 hours, Seb, has just been sublime and culminating in what we've just witnessed in the power stage. And I've still got goosebumps. It was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely spectacular. This is Elfyn Evans in the rain on Saturday morning. This is where he started to pull away, as Sebastian Ogier dropped at time through those first morning stages, but it was at the afternoon where things changed again.
Yeah, I mean, look, Elfyn did a really good job in the wet, didn't he? And made the most of those conditions. I think Sebastian Ogier also did a brilliant job in those wet conditions. But it was more once things started to dry out. That's when Seb he just had the extra 100th of a second, a 10th of a second, a kilometre, and was able to make the difference. And that's what it takes. And it's been a brilliant fight between the pair of them, and it's by no means over. Only 2 points going into CER. That is the most incredible prospect that we have got to look forward to in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, so exciting what is going to happen in Central Europe. But Sebastian Ogier this weekend at times, it didn't seem like it was his. Friday, as we said, Saturday morning, but it was that Saturday afternoon, first stage in the afternoon. I just saw that little glint in his eyes, the glint that was like, yep, I am ready to take the rest of you down.
Yeah, I mean, he just picked up the pace, didn't he? And you're right, he really struggled Friday morning and Saturday morning. And then I think when the Hyundais fell by the wayside, that certainly helped him, didn't it? But he was just able to pick up the pace a little bit, and the X factor was there just slightly over Elfyn Evans, and yeah, he went on to get the job done. But for me, if there was one stage that I would just love to watch again, it was the power stage. That was incredible. It was and actually from Thierry Neuville as well. Thierry with a car that's not actually doing exactly what he wants it to do. But yeah, Seb was he's so good under pressure, but the power stage was spectacular. Spectacular.
Just absolutely amazing. We were talking just now about the power stage, as you just said, that final corner, the final cut into that jump for Sebastian Ogier. That probably grabbed him a second, just in that madness, that moment of madness that has just brought him all the points haul that he could possibly hope for and give him the 2-point lead in the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well, it also goes to show why road position is so important. There's no question that the final kilometre of that stage was getting faster and faster with every car. We'd worked that out, we'd seen it, and Seb knew that as well. He'd have been watching at the start of the stage and knew that he had to make that count. He absolutely did it, and he took an enormous cut right at the end, and then just sent that Yaris absolutely into orbit and onto victory here in Chile. And well deserved, and you can take nothing away from Elfyn Evans at all. It's also been a brilliant job from Elfyn as well, but Toyota stealing another win to make them the most successful manufacturer in terms of rally wins now.
103, as Seb so rightly pointed out at the end. Yes, he's got a win, but now also Toyota, the most successful manufacturer. Julian Porter just at the side of the stage, getting those words out with Sebastian Ogier. Let's listen once again.
Seb, you're just asking what about the power stage. I can tell you it's a clean sweep. Rally victory, Super Sunday, power stage, just exactly what you want, and a 2-point lead in the championship.
Yeah, like we wanted, for sure. It's been, how you say, more difficult weekend than in Paraguay. We had to fight a bit more, some little issues sometimes in the morning. I was not really well awake, but we can be pleased the way we end up. I think these points are deserved after the one we lose with the God weather maybe in Paraguay. So yeah, happy with that, and now yeah, looking forward to switch on tarmac.
I mean, how is it that you can just dig so deep and just get away and do so much to your opponents?
I think it's many things you put together. Vincent's doing a great job on my side, always perfect. The team give me always a good tools to fight with, so thank you guys, it's amazing. And by the way, now we are #1, record for Toyota, so more than deserved.
#1, Sebastian Ogier, the place that you are very, very used to being. Well, the best of the rest to follow. Thierry Neuville, what a great power stage from him. It's been ups and downs, highs and lows. Again, we saw it was the latter part of Saturday morning and then Saturday afternoon where we just saw him and Adrian slipping away there. But like you said, with a car that's not as on it as he would like it to be. Whew, that was a pretty stellar performance.
Yeah, brilliant job from Thierry Neuville through the power stage. I think yesterday he was frustrated with the fact that he hadn't been that they'd made the wrong decision on tyres.
Yes.
You know, he took 3 and 3, 3 softs and 3 hards. Should have gone predominantly with the hard compound tyre, and that punished him. I think as well there was a little bit in the setup that didn't go his way. They were expecting it to be wetter, basically, Kiri, and it was bone dry out there yesterday afternoon. He was on the back foot, and then. Yeah, this morning struggled a little bit, but dug really deep and found some time through the power stage. This is just watching Thierry come through that Wolf power stage there, and I think it's one of the better stages of the weekend for him, frankly. And he only lost it by 0.4 of a second from Sebastian Ogier. It was a really good effort from Thierry Neuville right at the end of the rally to steal 4 Wolf power stage championship points.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the championship title fight is going to be difficult for Thierry, but getting those 4 points always going to help, isn't it? So an incredible push. And then Adrian Formaux, a third, finally the podium in South America that eluded him in Paraguay.
Yeah, look, the less said about Paraguay for Adrian Formaux, the better, because that was a proper hero to zero story. Unfortunately, ended up leaving with absolutely nothing. So 100% deserved a podium this weekend. Great to see him on the podium. I want to see him take a rally win this year. I think it would be really special for him. I think he deserves it. But Hyundai have just got to get it all together. And we heard from FX at the end of the show there, the end of the power stage. He was a bit despondent, wasn't he? Because they all know, and that team works so hard to deliver a car that is going to be absolutely on point and quick, but everything has to work, and the reliability has to be there all of the time. And that's just where Toyota are so good. I actually think pace-wise, there's nothing to choose between Hyundai and Toyota now. The difference is in the reliability package at the moment, and Hyundai will continue to work on that.
Yeah, indeed, and like FX said to me, like you said, at the end of the power stage, they're going to carry on fighting irrespective of everything. They will be fighting all the way through the final few rounds of the 2025 season. Another tough weekend for M Sport. Let's start with Josh McElwain. It came with a spin. Car problems, it's a bit tainted at the moment, isn't it? It's very hard for them at the moment.
I think this spin here. Have a look at this for a moment. He turns into the left, and just the back of the car whoop, just turns round on him, and he's in 5th gear there. He was very, very lucky to get away with just pulling the whole front end off the thing. Didn't damage the cooling package. Mechanically, it was all right. Obviously, destroyed the whole aero package on the front of the car, and I think that put Josh on the back foot straight away. That was less than 2.5 kilometres into the first stage, and when you have a big moment like that, boy, does it get in your head. And I think that's what's gone on with Josh McElwain. And then yesterday he had fuel pump issues, and the car was stopped by the side of the road, which of course made things even more frustrating for him. He wasn't able to go out and push yesterday as he'd have liked to have done, and you know, this is him literally getting into the first stage yesterday in the wet, ready to go again after a difficult Friday, and suddenly there's just no power at all, and no fuel getting to that engine, and as a result she wasn't going anywhere, was she? So yeah, look, you're right, it's been a difficult weekend for Josh McElwain, but again, another really good learning opportunity. He's learned a lot. Regroup, turn up CER and give it the beans.
Yeah, indeed. Here is that Greg we're on board with now?
That's Josh Slowing, I think.
Josh Slowing, okay. And so many problems for M Sport. Greg had a few highs and lows, but actually that power stage, I like it. Greg was just like, nah, I'm going to do this on Sunday. I'm going to show that I've got something. There's a reason for me being here. I
think Greg's had a good weekend, all told, hasn't he? You're right. Yeah. He stayed out of trouble completely, you know, short of that gear linkage failure on Friday when he to pull a gear and the gear lever just started doing this, wobbling around, and had to use the rod down the bottom there. You can see that gear lever just wobbling around all over the place. There you go. He's like, oh, no, that's not working anymore.
That's not what it's meant to do.
Goes down to the rod. So basically what's happened is there's a little linkage right at the bottom of that vertical gear lever, and that had failed. And then there's a horizontal rod that goes all the way down to the top of the bell housing on the gearbox. So he was just using that to go up and down the gears. Other than that, it was a fairly undramatic rally, wasn't it, for Gregoire Munster? Showed some spectacular flashes of pace. The car was good. He was there or thereabouts, and I think there was, of course, there's still time to be made up, but lots of positives to take from the weekend for the Luxembourger.
Yeah, all right. Well, another moment probably worth remembering is Katsuta spin. We had some good old spins with some good old recoveries this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, Taka was, as always, gave us some brilliant action, didn't he? And Yeah, he was always wild, absolutely on it. Really struggled on Friday in the difficult conditions. Really struggled and was very, very despondent. He knew it was going to be a difficult weekend. That was a spin he had on Saturday. Goes back up the road, gets it turned around and goes again. But look, it's under the difficult conditions, he struggled. But once it started to become a little bit more stable and the weather conditions started to dry up, he was more in his comfort zone, I think. And we saw the Taka that we all know and love. And yeah, he certainly fought back, got ahead of Gregoire Munster. That was his job, and then put in another mega performance in the power stage. He was leading that for a while.
Yeah, OK, well, let's just remind ourselves of the whole point system, because points win prizes, and this is the crux of it at the moment. All right, so Sunday points first. Let's just see who got what. Well, you know it by now. Sébastien Ogier maxed out here with the full 5. Elfyn Evans with the 4. Kalle Rothenperä 3 points. And then Sami Pajari on a good little push today with 2 points. And Tanak just doing what he finally could to get a point in the bag. So that's your 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 in terms of points and positions for Sunday. Then, of course, we had the Wolf Power Stage as well for the points haul. So the Wolf Power Stage gives 5 points to Sébastien Ogier as well for that final blast through. Then Thierry Neuville, a spectacular finish to an up and down weekend for him, gives him the 4. Then Elfyn would have been disappointed, would have liked the 4. It would have been 1 point different. Every point counts. And then Sami Pajari there with 2. Kalle with 1. All right, so then the confirmation of the rally finish. We know it's an Ogier win once again. How many more wins can this man get? But it's an Ogier win with an Elfyn Evans in second. Adrian Formaux, as we've talked about, on the podium, finally in the position he deserves in South America. Then it's Thierry in 4th, Sami in 5th. Kalle working his way back up from 9th to 6th. Probably would have liked to have done more with that. Taka, Munster, Solberg just creeping in there, and Grierson in 10th. So that's your top 10. So after all of that, have you got your calculators out? This is how the Drivers' Championship stands. Okay, so it's 2 points clear. My maths doesn't need to be tested right now. We can see it on your screens. 2 points clear. Then Kalle Rothenperä with 203. It looks like it's a long shot for him now. And Tanak. But they are still in the fight. I mean, Jenny, it is a long shot, even with the 203 points to the 224, but they're mathematically in with a chance.
Yeah, I think for Tanak, I think it's the top 4 we've got to focus on, and it's a big, big uphill struggle for Tanak, isn't it? It's at best a 3-horse race. It's definitely a 2-horse race, isn't it? Just 2 points between Ogier and Elfyn Evans as we head for the tarmac of Central European Rally. Elfyn loves the tarmac. Sébastien Ogier's got so much experience on the sealed surfaces, isn't he? And then, speaking of Hyundai, we know how pointy that car is on tarmac. It works very, very well on sealed surfaces, so they'll be looking forward to going away, regrouping, and they have to make that weekend count for them. That's fact now.
Yeah, indeed. OK, it's going to be an exciting weekend in Central Europe. I spoke to Juha just at the end of the power stage and before it, actually. He said, I've never been so nervous. Driving is so much easier than doing this. Let's listen into that interview once again. Juha, there's plenty of sighs of relief. What an incredible finish to an incredible rally. Just Sébastien Ogier pulling something out the bag that's spectacular.
Incredible. I mean, it was just whatever, 103%, because it was 103rd win for the Toyota. So everybody did a really good job. I'm so pleased.
What an amazing feat. You've just said it yourself now, Toyota, the most successful team. That just must be so amazing to be part of once again.
Exactly. It's really things what you remember all your life.
And on to Central Europe, the battle between Elfyn and Seb continues. It's going to be a stressful couple of weeks for you.
It will be a little bit of stress weekend, but everything looks good at the moment, and we are really looking for the Central European Rally, and also, of course, our second home rally, let's say, Japan. We are really looking for those.
Well, congratulations. Enjoy the celebrations.
Thank you.
Well, off the back of that, let's just show you where the manufacturer's standings are. So you can just see this now. Toyota 572 sees Hyundai's at 447. In terms of that looks significantly in the bag for Toyota, but that is how it stands at the moment. And of course, that stat as well, 103 wins for Toyota, making them the most successful WRC manufacturer team. That is a pretty hefty feat. So what a weekend it's been for them as they leave round 11 leading by 572 points. Now, this time last year, it was a very different story for Oliver Solberg, and we are all so glad that it is finally his. Us no more so than Petter Solberg, who has probably run the fastest I've seen him run in a long time, down to Oliver. What a brilliant weekend, finally.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's just so well deserved for a start. A massive, massive congratulations to Oliver Solberg. It's going to be one hell of a stinking party tonight, I can promise you that, Kiri. And yeah, look, I think it's the start of something very special for Oliver Solberg, taking his first Rally 1 victory on his first proper Rally 1 outing, I'm going to say, but certainly for Toyota, and winning in Estonia, and now coming here in Chile and getting the job done. It was made a little bit easier when Johan Rossell and Gus Greensmith both ran into problems, but he still had to turn up, he still had to get the job done, and I still think he would have been quicker than the pair of them, frankly. Oliver's driven so well this weekend. The car's worked so well. Principal have done a superb job running that car, and yeah, like I said, absolutely well deserved. Oliver Solberg, a world champion, and I don't think that will be the last time we'll be using that sentence.
However, there will be years that you'll remember in your life, and I think 2025 for Oliver Solberg is going to be one very significant year for him, because he's won his first WRC rally. He's obviously got his WRC2 title now, and he got engaged. 2025 for Oliver Solberg. Young man, you're not doing badly.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to put those in order of priority, but yeah.
I think they all go quite nicely together, don't they?
It's a nice little package for sure, and yeah, it's just so well deserved. And of course, Elliot Edmondson. You can't become a world champion, you can't win rallies, you can't go rallying without a solid co-driver alongside you. And Elliot's done a brilliant job supporting Oliver Solberg. They're a great team together. So it's not just one world champion we're looking at on the roof of that car. It's two. Elliot Edmondson has done a brilliant job. And like I said, I think it's the start of something very, very special for that young pairing. And yeah. Well-deserved champagne at the end of the stage.
Yeah, indeed, and exactly what you say, the best that we've had in terms of world champions, even the Julian Ingrassia, Sebastian Ogier combination, it is a combination, and it is always the tightest of combinations that we see the most wins from.
Yeah, exactly, and like I said, you have to have the perfect partnership, don't you? And if you don't, it doesn't work. It's not just driver and car, it's got to be driver, co-driver, car, team, everything. Everything has to work, because I can't stress enough, the competition is so stiff, and it's so hard to quantify when you're looking at a stage and they're fighting for tenths of a second. You know, it's so difficult to try and get your head around that.
Yeah.
So everything has to work, and it has done for Oliver Solberg this year.
Yeah, indeed. And you just heard me trying to find out where we're going next. We're going to listen into that interview again. So let's listen to the celebratory interview with Julian Porter and Oliver Solberg.
End of Rally Chile. Now, the 2025 WRC2 World Champions.
That sounds not so bad. Oh, what should I say? Unbelievable. It's I don't know what to feel. It's a kind of overwhelming and or whatever that word means, I don't know, but it's just a very big relief. You know, last year we had a bit of bad luck. We should have won it, definitely. This year, finally, you know, it's been just an incredible year with the team and Toyota taking me on board with a fantastic car, and just need to breathe a little bit, because it's not been a bad year. I'm very, very happy. Thank you to everybody, my team, Toyota, everybody at home who have believed in me, my family, my fiance Elliot. Thank you.
He got himself down a bit of the rabbit hole of the Oscar speech there. He had to start thanking everyone. You have to keep going, don't you, to make sure you get everybody in. All right, so the final WRC2 standings here in Chile. Solberg, Grierson and Solens. Martinez and Zalvida rounding out the top five there. Kaito's still in contention there in sixth. But a difficult weekend for the ones below, but a great weekend for Oliver Solberg. All right, so that is how it looks. Confirmation that Oliver Solberg is our champion. 135 points, sees Johan Russell's 99. To be honest, Johan Russell has pushed him and pushed him. Those two have a fantastic battling, I don't know what it is, a fantastic battle throughout the year and every year that we've seen them together in the WRC2.
Yeah, Johan Rossell, you know, he had a good go last year and it all went wrong for him. I think it was in CER, wasn't it? And then this year here in Chile, it's gone wrong for him as well. And you know, there was a little bit of talk about what he's going to be doing next year now that he can no longer be WRC2 champion. And that was his goal this year, and he hasn't achieved it. But I think, me personally, I think Johan absolutely deserves a seat here and should be here on the WRC calendar one way or another. He's quick. He's definitely come on enormously on gravel. You know, Kiri, he used to just be a tarmac specialist, and he's come on gravel. And yeah, I'd like to see Johan coming back and having another go next year. It was hard to watch, you know, when he was by the side of the road doing everything he could to try and plug that oil leak, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. And yeah, he's going to have to fight for second again this year.
Well, while Johan Russell was having that drama as well, Jan Solens just thought he'd add some more drama, a bit of fence, a bit of barbed wire. You were right, the Clipper sorted it all out.
Yeah, and you know, he was so lucky to get away with that. What staggers me is it was enormous. It was an enormous impact up the bank. So he was coming into a right-hander, went up the bank, and basically cleared out an entire fence in the background and pulled the barbed wire along with it. Here you go. So this is Jan coming towards us. Look at the speed he's carrying into this right-hander up here. Just a little bit beforehand, I think.
And just after Gus as well. So we had Johan, Gus, and then Jans. It was drama central for WRC2 for a second through this stage.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, he's just carrying loads and loads of speed and was just, as I say, so lucky to get away with it. Here we go, right up onto the bank. Bang, and an enormous impact.
Yep.
There go all the fence posts, and he's now dragging 10 metres of barbed wire behind him like some sort of medieval weapon, and gets to the end of the stage, and that car was completely straight. And it just goes to show the levels of engineering that go into them. They're not just incredibly strong, but incredibly quick. Yeah, he was lucky to get away with that, and then of course capitalised on the fact that Emil Lindholm cooked his Skoda. He had a high water temperature alarm and had to stop. So, yeah, I think all in all, it's been a good weekend for Jan Solens.
Yeah, for sure. And probably one of the most eventful WRC2 weekends we've had in a long time. All right, well, that pretty much covers, I think, every drama, every moment, every incident that's happened this weekend. It's unbelievable to think that we only got here on Thursday. OK, well, the next rally coming up for you, you've heard us saying it, it is Central Europe we are heading to next. We are back on tarmac. It's been a long while, hasn't it? We have been on gravel for a hefty part of the season. Rally number 12, only 2 more after Central Europe. Chenny, it is spectacular crossing borders.
Yeah, obviously Germany, Czechia, Austria, crossing all the borders, and then and the stages themselves incredibly technical, tight, but at the same time loads of opportunities to make mistakes, and of course lobbing the weather.
Yeah,
we see the rain turning up so often. It's a difficult spot to go rallying for sure.
Indeed, we'll take a look at what's in store. Autumnal leaves and tarmac. What more could you want? It's just a few weeks away, the Central European Rally. Well, the music behind is starting, so I think that pretty much says it is time to party. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an incredible adventure here in South America, but from us all here in Chile, it is goodbye for now. We'll see you soon.